Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Corki updated complete guide for the latest patch. Now I still think Corki is one of the best ADCs to play right now, really strong, so those numbers are still really high. But before we get into the details, let's first take a look at Corki's basic guide. I'll put up in the cards above for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as some combos. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So not much or not anything really has changed from the previous Corki complete guide I did. Maybe the Keystone rune, I guess, might have changed a little bit. But let's take a look. So first off, we have the Gluttonous Greaves for the AD and the Omnirev. Then we go into the classic combo of Manamune into Triforce. Now Manamune of course gives you mana, which is very important for Corki because he spams spells a lot and he uses a lot of mana. Of course, you also get the damage on your spells as well as your attacks when you evolve it to Mirror Mana. And then you have Triforce for a little bit of tankiness from the health, as well as a little bit of nice stats from the AD and attack speed. We also get the ability Haste, which of course is great since Corki spams spells. And of course you can also proc Spellblade whenever you cast an ability, and since you have 4 charges of the ult, that's pretty easy to do. So your next 3 items are pretty flexible. Now if you take a look at the top builds, you will see a lot of them like to go Mole Reminder into IE. And the last guy likes to go for Charge Blade. Now, I personally like to go for BT because I think BT is like the best like AD crit item because it gives you like lots of stats, right? It gives you physical VAM, so I just like to go for that, right? And I think going for Mole Reminder next, it's like it gives you so little stats, right? It gives you 30 AD only, and like it's just not that great as a third item in my opinion, right? So I like to go for Bloodthirster and then if need be into Mole Reminder early for Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds. If I don't need Mole Reminder early, then I go for IE for more AD and increased crit damage. So for the runes now, instead of going for Fleet Footwork, which still is a very decent option, I actually go for Conquer as the default more nowadays because I think that you know, the extra movement speed and healing is of course very useful, but the extra damage and Omniram from Conquer is just as good, so I like to go for that one as well. Of course, here we actually have Brutal for the auto attack damage, but since Corki auto attacks only like a little bit and not a whole lot, you actually can go for Gathering Storm or Triumph as well, but it's really one of those like Jin situations where you don't really have an amazing choice when it comes to this one. But then of course here we go for Giant Slayer for the tech busting, as well as the Alacrity for more attack speed, and finally we have Bone Plating just for the defensive capabilities. Then for the spells we have Flash, and then you can go for basically Cleanse, Barrier, or Exhaust depending on what you need. I'll leave the guide that I made for ADCs on which summon spells to take up in the cards as well, and you guys can refer to that if you want more details on that. But with all that out the way, let's move on to the gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at our Corki gameplay. But before we do, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, I'll be sure to address them. So, 2 things I want to kind of mention about Corki straight at the start. Firstly, Corki can start either E or Q, and kind of depending on the situation you find yourself in. So with the Blitzcrank, I'm not leveling anything right now at the moment because I'm waiting to see if Blitzcrank lands a hook or if we actually fight. Because if we fight at level 1, taking E at level 1 is going to be amazing because you do damage and shred the defenses of the enemies, which will then, of course, lead to you winning the trade / the fight. Right, but if nothing happens like what's happening here, you can actually level your Q and start launching your Q for poke into the enemies. Now I still haven't actually leveled anything here yet because I'm not actually that close to poking MF, but you can see Blitzcrank now getting into position, hooks the MF. I actually level E and pop it immediately, but the issue is that I end up launching E on the minion. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter all that much because I will be getting my level 2 on this minion anyway, then I will have both my E and my Q. But the second thing I kind of want to mention about Corki at the beginning is the support you want to play with. Now, in my opinion, you never really want to play Corki with an Enchanter support. I don't think Corki works very well with Enchanters, right? Of course, the exceptions are kind of the top tier Enchanters, like you know, your Yumis, Lulus, and Melios. I guess they can kind of work with Corki because Corki at the end of the day is an ADC. Like if you protect Corki with like your Lulus or your Yumis or your Melios, I guess it can work, but it's just not that great, right, compared to tanks, right? So I think Corki is way better played with like the Leonas, Nautiluses, Alistars, Blitzcranks of the world, where you can, you know, get someone locked down, get someone CC'd, and then you can finish them off and have easy time landing all your Qs and your ults and things like that. I think Corki works way better with tanks. I don't really think he needs being buffed by Enchanter, so I think he works way better with tanks. Now here, MF gets hooked again. Unfortunately, Lux is in the bush there, and Lux bursts me faster than I can burst MF, so in the end, MF picks up the kill on me, and Blitzcrank picks up the kill on MF. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, so in the end, I guess it's not really a good trade because I didn't get the kill, whereas MF did get the kill. But, you know, MF has already been set pretty behind by Blitzcrank putting on a lot of pressure, and MF couldn't really farm very well. So in the end, I'm only slightly behind MF, despite the fact that I've, you know, given her a kill. So now, the wave is kind of pushing in at the moment. MF is landing those double ups, unfortunately. A little bit difficult to dodge when there's a lot of minions. Now Blitzcrank is running straight at MF, and I'm just being in position to kind of follow up if need be, which is not really the case. So I'm going to go back under tower to continue farming up these minions. And yeah, so not too much is happening now. Lux has been missing for a very long time, so I have no idea kind of what is really going on with her. Where is the Lux in this situation? So I've definitely pinged missing, and here Lux is finally back in lane. Not sure what was happening with her. Yeah, so it's nothing really happening in lane right now, so we're just kind of just farming. Blitzcrank is kind of zoning MF off the minions for the most part. Hook goes in onto MF, full combo by the Blitzcrank. We fly forward straight into the Lux route, unfortunately, and here we're desperately trying to get a killer. MF is pretty low now. Here I'm actually blasting onto Lux, and with the full stack Conqueror and with a very well aimed big one, we are able to finish off the kill on Lux and grab that. Now, in the meanwhile, Hecarim on full HP dives the MF and gets a free kill onto her as well. And unfortunately, we didn't pick up the assist because it was a little bit too long for the assist to come through, but we are able to get the kill. So, in the end of the day, both bot laners died. That's a huge win for us. We're going to pick up the tier, and I'm going to pick up the Sheen as well. Now, nowadays, with the Manamune buffs, there are kind of two philosophies as to what to rush right now. I personally think that going for tier into Sheen is still good, simply due to the fact that Sheen is always going to be very helpful in terms of your early game damage output, whereas if you go for the Manamune components, you're going to be a lot more useless. But I can also see the argument of trying to finish Manamune as quickly as possible, because now you get the stacking of 15 stacks instead of 10 stacks, and just going for that rush does kind of make sense in a way. So I can kind of see why you would want to rush Manamune and skip Sheen, but also I could see why you want to go for Sheen and skip skip going for the rush of Manamune, right? So both ways kind of work. Kind of depends on what you really prefer. Either way is fine. So here objectives are coming up. Looks like Hecarim is going for Dragon based on his pathing. And we want to quickly push up the wave and then rotate for Dragon. So you can see I'm using my spells on the wave. I'm spam auto-attacking the wave. Blitzcrank is basically zoning MF and Lux off of the wave. He does end up taking a lot of poke though, and here I'm trying to trade back. High damage coming out from me onto the both of them, but I don't want to overcommit because they are now under tower. And, we can't really do that. Now here, for some reason, not for some reason I guess, the Shyvana goes over trying to steal, which does of course make sense, right? However, we are able to kill her, and now we're going to hop the wall. 2 low HP targets here. We're going to kill off the Lux first, and then followed by the Vladimir, who had already used his pool and has really nowhere to run. Right, so we pick up a random triple kill here. Now we're heading back to kind of help out with the Riven situation here, but Riven probably knows that we're coming, so she ends up kind of backing off the Victor and the Blitzcrank. And in the meanwhile, MF has managed to kind of push in the wave, but it's all good. We've got a triple kill, and we're now about 1k gold ahead of the MF. We do take a bunch of poke under the tower, but not much MF can really do to us at this point, with the position that we're in, which is under the tower. So we are gonna just farm the minions, or not farm, clear the wave, and then we're going to back and complete the Manamune and start stacking it by spamming our spells. So we still have one last charge of the package big ones left, as you can see from the icon next to my level. So we ideally want to get rid of that one quickly so we can start charging the ult again and start stacking up towards the next package. But I'm kind of looking for MF so I can launch the big one at her face, but she's kind of not really around. So I think I might need to use it on minions or something like that. A fight is breaking out over the Herald, where the enemy Shyvana is getting the Herald for herself. And a fight is breaking out. Blitzcrank is running towards the fight as quickly as he can. and leaving me and MF in a 1v1. Now, I launched the big one at long last, but I missed the MF, which is fine. And in the meanwhile, my team is cleaning up the fight at the Herald. So although the enemy team did get the Herald, they did lose out on 3 kills, which arguably is a better trade for us, right? Because if you trade tower plate that the Herald will get you for 3 kills, I think that's a trade up. And also tower plates are falling, so if Shyvana doesn't use the Herald within the next 20 seconds, she's not even going to get the plates, which is going to be pretty bad for her. Now here, honestly, despite the fact I'm like 1k gold ahead of MF, I'm not going in on her, and the main reason for that is she is Bloodthirster, whereas I have unevolved Mana Mune, right? So I'm not gonna win the 1v1. So I'm just kind of just waiting for my Blitzcrank to show up, which he does. I'm tanking the entire MFE, so taking a ton of damage here, but I am dashing in, and honestly, the reason I died here is because of that, right? Because I tanked the whole MFE and MF passive stacked up on me to full, I'm taking the extra 8% damage from the MF ultimate, and that is killing me, right? The MF ult hurts when you take an extra 8% of damage from it. So there, honestly, if I wanted to do that play, I needed to cleanse flash out of the MF ult immediately, which I did not do, because I thought that we could have killed her without having to do that, but I end up being greatly mistaken, and we end up dying instead, which is obviously very not ideal. So here now we have to defend tier 2 against the ensemble, and the good news is that the ensemble didn't actually get the plates, so it's not all bad. So now we are going to clear up the minions once again, and we're gonna push out, right? Because here actually what's happening is no one is actually here to defend for now. So I'm thinking this could be a good opportunity to sneak the tower. I see like 3 people in mid and 1 person in the other side of the map. So only 1 person at most, the Shyvana I think, could maybe respond to me. So I'm thinking that, you know, this is a very good time to just clear. And here we spot MF on the way back, as well as the Riven. We're going to be able to get the tower though, like so. And we actually have 2 members of our team here to back us up. So now it's a 3v3. Blitzcrank gets the hook in. We're trying to go over. We get the kill. And this time, we're going to flash out the MF ult. MF dies anyway. And 2 quick kills have been taken by our team. Now here, we're simply just going to recall. No jungle to take. And we're not going to walk all the way back there for the wave, because we can actually back and get the Triforce, which of course is our key item spike. So now the next dragon is about to come up within the next like 10 seconds or so. So we're rotating over here. Now I'm going to go ahead and push up the wave. In the entire time that we've backed and walked back here, Blitzcrank was just whacking the wave, by the way. So that's what was happening. Here the dragon is up, but enemy team is not really responding. You can see 3 people of the enemy team are mid, and they're trying to force the mid lane tower, which is perfectly fine of a play. You can always trade dragon from mid. But Shyvana's missing, so we don't know if she's going to hop the wall again. And she does hop the wall, but Hecarim has some really good smites this game and secures the dragon. So here Hecarim and Shyvana are in the 1v1, so I'm kind of deciding which fight to help. So I decided to actually help Hecarim because Shyvana is killing him, and we are able to kill her and stop her from killing Hecarim. Like, she was just running down the Hecarim, but as a result, we can't actually help out with the other side of the fight. So we do end up only helping the Hecarim, and I hear Vladimir, yeah, we don't want anything to do with him, so we're just going to dash away. Honestly, Vladimir is only at 1 item, so I think we could actually fight him right here. We're just basically blasting the MF. Unfortunately, we get ulted by Vladimir, so we are not going to survive that, and we do end up going down. But we do kill both of the bot laners. And we also finally have Mana Mune evolved into Mirror Mana. So now we are at the 2 item spike. Of course, very key breakpoints for the Corki. And yeah, here Hecarim getting in some nice counter jungling, and we're pushing in all 3 lanes. You can see mid lane tower has just been taken. And top tower is getting taken by Hecarim. And here Cannon is basically shoving Riven under the tower, and Riven is not really able to do very much. Riven 0-4 and 0, by the way, because Cannon has been completely smashing her face in. Cannon's 4k gold ahead of the Riven, so he is really, really fed. And now at this point, I don't really have a wave to farm, so I'm going to go ahead and farm the jungle a little bit here. And yeah, so here Victor's going for that mid wave, so I'm gonna once again go back to the jungle and just grab these wolves. Hecarim is pathing down to the Crux, so I'm gonna get the red buff share, and probably gonna do these raptors most likely. Yeah, there we go. So gonna do the Raptors. Just getting farm wherever I can. And I guess now that we have no jungle left to farm, unless we steal the blue buff, we're gonna compete with Victor for the mid lane farm. And yeah, so here Hecarim in the enemy jungle. Now Vladimir is going in very deep between towers to kill Victor and does get the kill on Victor, but Kennen gets the trait kill onto him with the help of the ulti. And here Hecarim is setting a trap for MF, goes in, but we are trying to get there. We eventually do get there, and Shyvana has ulted in. We are just blasting, and we have the package ready and available. Once again, we're just blasting with the package. Shyvana ends up going down as well. And with 4 people dead on the enemy team and only the 0-4-0 Riven left alive, it's prime time to do Baron. So Kennen in the meanwhile, split pushing the opposite side of the map, at least for a little bit. And I think it's going for the blue buff. At this point, it's already over 12 minutes, so we're going to get the blue buff share onto everybody on the team. Blitzcrank is dying to the Baron, has to pop the gargoyles, nearly dies to Baron, and barely survives. Now here we pick up the Bloodthirster, and we're also able to... Nope, we're not able to pick up anything else. So here, yeah, the blue buff is still up, because Kennen actually just took the Hex Gate instead of taking the blue buff. So Hecarim is going to go grab the blue buff. And Victor, I think he's setting a trap or something, but yeah, here again we're fighting Victor for the wave. But yeah, so here only really inhibitor towers are left except for bot lane, which still has a tier 2. Hecarim is going up to deal with the Vladimir, and we're all kind of just blindly following him, which is not that great. I'm gonna go for the wave actually because I want to push in this top lane, but you can see three people from the enemy team briefly in the jungle appeared for 1 second, so they are kind of somewhere around this area as well. Right, so I'm just going ahead to join my team to ensure that we are, we're all grouped together, ready to fight if need be. In the meanwhile, Victor is pushing in the mid lane, so we're gonna be able to play on 2 waves, pushing in top and mid at the same time, and the enemy team is gonna have to defend two lanes at the same time. We actually managed to do a pretty nice 4-1 there, probably not on purpose, but here we're gonna start opening up onto the mid lane tower, and then we're gonna go help with the top lane inhib instead because this one's more valuable. We get the top lane inhib. Next minion wave comes in, so we're gonna get the mid lane inhib as well. And not only the bot lane inhib is left up, Nexus shield is still up, so we can't really end the game on this wave because yeah, enemy team is just gonna defend. MF gets completely caught out by Blitzcrank because she rooted herself by ulting, and yeah, Blitzcrank just catches her out completely, and she goes down. Same story for the Shyvana. Shyvana also goes down. Vladimir trying his best but does not survive. So now here, honestly, we might have been able to end the game right here because only 2 people are left alive. But Victor backs and Hecarim goes for the dragon instead. So instead of playing 2v2 in the enemy base where they have an inherent advantage from the tower and the fountain, I'm just going to go ahead and push in the last tier 2 tower, or last lane that even has towers, I guess. And maybe even the inhib. So here, yeah, Lux, I'm not sure why she walked so close there. Kennen just flashes over and murders her, and Riven actually survives. But here we are going to be able to get the last inhib of the game, and enemy team has 0 towers left. And honestly here it's a little bit of an awkward situation, right? Because we don't really want to force trying to end the game because that's a little bit difficult. Like, a lot of games are thrown trying to force ending the game, but at the same time there's no other objectives to take, right? There's literally nothing to do. Like, what are we going to do here? Counter jungle the enemy blue buff? Like, yeah, there's nothing else to really do, so it's just a very awkward situation where we're just kind of walking around doing kind of nothing because there isn't really anything to do, which is a really just strange situation. So here Kennen just backs right in front of their faces with the help of the mountain dragon. They are not even able to stop him from backing. And here I can actually complete IE. So here at this point, I'm just going to back and complete IE. I'm pinging to do Baron because I'm thinking the best play here is to just wait for Baron to spawn, do Baron, and then use the Baron to end the game, right? Because there's no real way to hard force the end of the game other than just taking Baron, right? Baron is the game-ending objective that we need. So on the way, I'm taking the red buff, which gives my entire team the red buff, and pushing in the mid wave. So you can see I'm pinging for Baron, which is going to come up. My team is not moving whatsoever. They're pinging to engage instead. Now, thankfully, some way, somehow, I'm still trying to posture to Baron, right? But some way, somehow, the Riven just randomly ins into our team, as does the Lux. So we randomly kill 2 people, and now we have 2 waves pushing in. So I'm thinking, whoa, this could be the opportunity to actually end the game, right? Because so here I'm just blasting the base. Vladimir comes in, gets instantly one-shot by the cannon, and we kill the MF right before we end the game. But there we have it. That is going to be game. Gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.